Hi, Stu here. We're up on a nice wintry Dartmoor, and today I thought we could pitch the Hilleberg Unna. So the Unna is a one-man tent from Hilleberg, comes in at 2.3 kilos, and it's a great little simple one-man backpacking tent. So let's get to it. It's pretty cold. Let's get this thing pitched. This is the first time I've pitched the Unna, so be interesting for me to see how it goes off as well. It's part of their red label collection, so it's kind of one of their winter tents, but slightly lighter weight fabrics. So first thing I'm going to do before I take 10 out of the bag is just grab the pegs, so they're easy to get to. You get aluminium V pegs with this tent, the same as all red labels. And I'm going to pop those into this pocket here so they're easy to get to. Next thing, I've found a nice pitch here, the wide flat area, is I'm going to, because we're cold, it could be windy, we don't want the tent to blow away, I'm going to get the poles ready as well. So you get two 9mm poles and a spare section, which will stick down to the bag so that doesn't go missing. 9mm DAC featherlight poles. Tried and tested, been using them for years and years. They're both the same length, which makes pitching the tent really easy. You haven't got to worry about making sure you put one pole somewhere and somewhere else. I'm not going to pop these just here. And now we can get the tent out. Pop the bag in the backpack so it's not going to blow away. Find our pegging points. Make sure the door's going to be the side that we want to display it for you guys. So, earlier on, I made sure to pick up a rock because I know the ground's going to be pretty hard and frozen up here, so pushing the pegs in is going to be difficult. So I picked up a rock close by. Get down to it's not too deep, the snow. We can push that peg in. Now I've pitched this, the wind blowing into the door. Ideally you'd want to pitch it side on, but for the sake of filming today, we're going to pitch it this way. Okay, back to the poles. As with all Hillebergs, it's a fixed pole sleeve on this, so really easy to put together. As in, the one end of the pole sleeve is stitched. There's a pocket where it lives. Let's just make sure we get this one sorted out. There we go. Just the crossing point. Pull these tension straps. It's really important to pull these tight. This is the pole cup where the pole sits inside of. It's really important to pull these nice and tight. Otherwise there's a chance in the wind that the pole could pop out. The other great thing about these tents, these sleeves are big enough to double pole them. So you can put two sets of poles in to make it even stronger if you want to. And then available also are 10mm versions of these poles if you want the stronger, heavier duty poles in it. So now we've got it up pitch, we can go around and peg the rest of it out. When you're pegging out your guidelines on your tent, it's quite important to make sure you peg them as long as you can get them to go. This creates the best tension for it to be able to do its job properly. Being a red label tent, you get 3mm reflective guy lines. Okay, So we've got it pitched now. Have a quick chat about the fabrics. This is a Curlon 1200 fly sheet. 1200 means it's got a 12 kilo tear strength. Super strong. And it's triple silicone coated. So it's silicone coated twice on the outside and once on the inside. It makes it a very durable tent, which is super resistant to UV degradation as well. So it's far more resistant to sun damage than most other products. Now, what's kind of unique about the Unna is the door area. It hasn't really got a porch on it. So you instead get this kind of large inner tent, enabling you to kind of bring your pack and everything inside with you, rather than leaving it in the porch area. I quite like this design. There's just about enough space to leave your boots, mucky boots and stuff outside. And then what it gives you is a really, really large inner tent. The reality is, in a squeeze, you could probably get 2 people in here quite comfortably. For one person on their own, there's oodles of space. And you can get everything in with you. Admittedly, if all your stuff's soaking wet, that can be a bit of an issue. But for winter camping, when you can kind of brush most of the snow off, or for backpacking when you're in kind of finer conditions, you're not having to bring in wet kit in. Also, if you've just got wet waterproofs and things, you can still leave your boots. There's enough space here to leave boots and things. And you can bring your wet stuff in to help dry it off with you inside the inner tent rather than having it soaking wet. What you can do, if you really wanted, give yourself a bit more space, is you can disconnect the corner of the inner tent. It's quite easy to do so. So you can just give yourself a bit more space. And roll that back. And you've got an area there where you can pop your bag, and then still plenty of space in the inner tent for living arrangements, I suppose. One nice feature you get with Hilleberg tents is this red elastic, and you can use that on the door. Pass that through the zipper, and now the zip can't undo in bad weather. It can't, even if it's blowing loads, that won't undo at all, which is pretty neat. There's also a pegging point here, so we can peg the door shut to create a bit more tension. You can still zip in and out and climb through the zipper, but it gives you an option there as well, which is quite neat. Or you can peg the door back, so when you have it half rolled, that's what it's, so we can just have half the door, have that pegged in place, roll that up, and then you've got well, Sam will show you in a minute. I'll leave that rolled up, and if we have to show you, there's a small area of storage just about where you could probably put some stuff, if wet boots and the like. On the inner, there's a mosquito mesh in the top quarter, which you can roll back, so it is like a proper winter inner, the ripstop nylon. And then there's at the top a vented area, and the vent you can open the front door zip with the kind of rain cowl on the top. It allows the tent to vent. The issue with all these kind of winter tents, when the fly sheet comes to the ground all the way around, is making sure they're adequately ventilated. So for most times, especially in the UK, where we've got high humidity, you want to have as much of the venting open as possible. The floor is a really robust 70 denier nylon with with a 15,000 mil hydrostatic head. It's really strong. When you compare that to some of the kind of North American tents that might have a 2,500 mil hydrostatic head, this floor is really robust, just down to a lot of abuse, and it means it's going to last a long time. That's the kind of main thing about it, is it's not going to be replaced. There is a footprint available for this tent, which then doubles that, and it might be useful if you're planning on using it in particularly rocky terrain, but for the most part, a footprint isn't necessary with these tents because the floors are so robust. So, being a dome tent, the poles cross, what that means is it's really strong. I'm putting quite a bit of weight onto it now, and that's going to be good for standing it to a snow load. So if it snows loads, the snow's going to fall off. It's not going to kind of weigh on the top like it might do with a tunnel tent. It's also going to stand to wind pretty well as well. It's really sturdy, especially when it's all guyed out. It's not going to be as strong as a Sulu, for example, but a Sulu Solo has got an extra pole which crosses over. So this is lighter than a Solo. It's kind of a great all-rounder solo one-man backpacking tent. So there you have it. The Hilleberg Unna, available in red, green and sand. An excellent one-man backpacking tent.